Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Another Monday morning coffee with Val. It is cold here in Georgia. I'm actually in Atlanta. I don't have my cup of coffee with me because I already had 2 cups before coming live to you guys. I might be talking a little bit lower this morning because I'm in my friend's house and they're sleeping, so definitely I don't want to wake them. Thank you for those that are being here, Fede and Ellie. Aura, thank you for being here. Good morning to all of you. And I have such an important topic. First of all, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me well. Can you hear me well? Just give me thumbs up because I'm usually louder and more, using my expressions, and I'm just trying to be cautious because my friends are sleeping to honor their space. And Kelly's here. Thank you so much for joining. This topic, just show up, is by far one of my best ones, the things that I like to talk about the most, because really, thank you for the thumbs up. Showing up has made a difference to be where I am today. So I want to deconstruct any point of view that you might have, whether you're watching now or later, of showing up. And I don't know why, I usually never do any kind of research, and I just sit in prayer or meditation before coming here, or channeling, or thinking about a topic to share with all of you. So I, for the first time, I went in and Googled, looked in the dictionary, really what show up means, and it was like kind of blown away, because for me it has a positive connotation. Show up for me is like just be there, make it happen, and it brings me, Val, a high vibrational moment, a moment of connectivity. I feel warm. It's a very light feeling for me. So first of all, I want to ask you, what if I just tell you to close your eyes for a second and repeat to yourself, show up? Is that a light or heavy feeling? Is that something that is contributing to you or not? Does that get you high or does that get you low? I would love that. Sammy's in the house. The question is, when you think about just somebody says, show up, just show up, or you think to yourself, I have to show up. Is this light or heavy? Tell me if this is light, Sammy, or anybody who's here. Is this something that when you hear the word show up, is it contributing to you and you like the feeling? Or is it gets you nervous, iffy, light, or heavy? I would love to know that in the comments. For me, as I said, it brings so much joy. It brings excitement. It brings adrenaline is the word. I love just feeling the need or the want to show up. So it gets me nervous. I know you were going to say that. But then nervous, is that feeling light or heavy? Because there's a certain type of being nervous that makes you show up. Positive, good feeling, I love it. But excitement, I love it, I love it. So here's the thing, in the dictionary, I was blown away, right? Because for me, it's just a positive thought. So in the dictionary, I'm gonna read it just verbatim. It says to expose or discredit, especially by revealing faults. I was like, that's not showing up for me, but that's what the dictionary says. Then I look further in other definitions for like Cambridge Dictionary. It says to arrive somewhere in order to join a group of people, especially late or unexpectedly. I'm like, interesting. So for me, whatever it means to you to show up. But for me, what it's done, it really has brought so much contribution. And sometimes in life, we don't have the will to show up. We might feel just not ourselves. We might be in a little depression, sadness, uncertainty, fear, or perhaps our health is not aligned to where we feel like totally optimistic and positive to show up. However, in those moments that you feel that you can't show up for you, showing up for others is really showing up for you. Because once you show up and make it happen, make that effort to show up and be of service. That's what I always going to talk about. It shifts your perspective, and by you feeling like you've contributed somewhere, you are showing up for you, and you will gain so much knowledge and so many life lessons that will keep you going to be embracing life in a different way and give you strength to show up for you. Okay, So that's number one. I want to actually share a couple of examples in my life about showing up that has completely transformed. I can think back, actually, when I had just gotten married and I moved to Spain. And after 1 year, I didn't have a work permit. And I was just always working, and I loved working, and I wanted to work. So I was like, okay, I can't work. Let me volunteer. Well, in Spain back then, you couldn't volunteer either unless you belonged to a certain group of this group that I wasn't part of. So I thought I have to get a job or I'm going to go crazy. But the only job that I could apply, it was the company that my ex-husband was, because that they would help me get a work permit. But it was a software company, and I had no idea about software. I'm not that old, but I grew up, and there were my last generation of high school. We didn't have like computer class in my last year of high school. There you go, Sammy. That's why I'm not so savvy. But then when I left, of course, even kindergarten had computer classes. So I was told, you've got to apply in this company. And my limited belief was like, you don't really love computers. You don't know how to use them. What are you going to go do and sell software that you don't even know that kind of language? And in my head, because I come from that family that always showed up, I thought, let me just show up. I'm going to show up. Of course, I got to get prepared. So actually, my friend that is here in Georgia, Lucina Martinez, who was also in Spain, I said, help me with the language. What if they ask me this? Like, what software program? Tell me about software language. So I remember, like, I felt like I was in high school because I remember writing these words. They meant to me like if I was learning Chinese. I wrote them in my hand so that if I were to be asked and I didn't remember the language, I could just go like, I always like speaking with my body, and I can look in my hand, like kind of cheating, like in my cheat sheet, right? And long story short, I showed up. Of course, I was afraid. Of course, I was unsettled, and I was petrified when I found out that who was going to give me the interview was the wife of the owner of the whole company that my ex-husband worked for. So I thought, I can't make a fool of myself. So by really owning and just claiming that I just needed to get my foot in there, how I was going to do it, I didn't even know how to use computers, obviously sell this kind of stuff or the language. Well, long story short, I got the job. I was determined. I showed up with joy and grace. I was confident. I was honest. Well, honest-ish, right? Because they're like, how long does it take you to learn this? Oh, no time. I feel already comfortable with it. How do you feel about selling this online? Oh, absolutely super comfortable. I just had to tell my brain, my subconscious, you can do it, and this is your lifeline. Sometimes showing up to even the things that you don't like is that bridge that you need to really believe in yourself. Because if you can conquer and actually gain a passion of something that you thought you disliked, that's your ticket to heaven. That's your ticket to the moon. And it has happened so many times in my life, because I did come in this company, I ended being a great salesperson, and because my personality, my bubbly, loving, they sent me to trade shows to sell something that I didn't even know what it was at the beginning. So in this life, I want you to embrace the opportunity of that, showing up even in the places that you say, this is not for me, I'm going to waste my time. Give yourself an opportunity. So that was something that I did, and I did for a year and a half, and I actually ended up loving, for the time being that I was there. My background wasn't that, but I enjoyed the people that I met, and it was a beautiful opportunity to feel the feeling of conquering and being the best at something that I thought I hated. Okay, so that's number one. The second part for me was when I became a corporate trainer. I always said in my life I would never, ever, ever do it, right? But you must read my story. My book is coming up, and I'm super excited. That's another thing why just showing up I'll have to tell you about. So when I was in Peru, stuck in the pandemia, And I had the opportunity to, well, I didn't have many opportunities because everything was shut down. And my friend and partner at the time said, you're great. You are a great speaker. I want you to come and try it. And he kind of tricked me into showing up. I wasn't really prepared. And just by being present, I nailed it. I killed it. I had this exchange of adrenaline and I felt so good that bringing all this mindfulness and mindset and NLP to corporate and conscious leadership, I just had this high. But you see, my loves, I wouldn't have never felt it if I didn't show up. So I want to stop here for a second and ask you, where have you perhaps not shown up? That could be your door to heaven on this earth. Yeah, absolutely. Presence. Just show up and show your presence. Thank you, Kelly. And having that determination. Absolutely. So for me, having that shift into now being a corporate trainer, it has absolutely shifted my life. Now, let's talk about this book coming up. By the way, it's coming up very soon and I'm so excited. It's called The Journey Back into Your Heart, How to Live in Love with You, Your Life and Your Path, which actually my friend Kelly has been so graceful to help me edit part of it. Thank you, my love. And is it the right time to finish? Is it the right, with some health situation that is going on, travels, and there's always an excuse to delay the project, to not show up. But when you really take the time to be in tune with yourself, to sit in meditation, to ask yourself, what is it about this process that I am delaying? How can I show up for, asking those questions I always share with all of you. Ask contributing questions so that you can actually conquer things and get things done. And when I deconstructed that whole idea and really checked in with myself, I was like, it's time to just show up and finish this book. And I'm on one side taking care of this whole health situation that is going on. I need some cervical surgery. And in the other hand, I have the high and the drive and the dream at the same time to get this book out on April 22nd. Okay, so there is no excuse that you can embrace, even when you're ill or not, to not show up, because I have been there as well. In fact, I'm going to share one more story because I'm filled with stories. Showing up, your hands become the divine's hands. Absolutely, I love that. Showing up, your hands become the divine's hands. I love that, Kelly. Thank you. So this November, it was Thanksgiving. I was in Mexico, in Merida, with my children. And that day we were leaving. They were leaving to where they are, and I was leaving to go to Puerto Rico and then to London. So to give a conference and then to receive an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism in London. So it was really important. I was very grateful for the opportunity. Well, lo and behold, right before 3 hours before going to the airport, I had a motorcycle accident, which was quite severe. I still have wounds and all these things that happened. And it was only 3 hours before the plane was leaving. And when I laid in the cement and I saw blood and I was in so much pain, I remember opening my eyes and saying, I'm so grateful that I'm going to Puerto Rico and then I'm alive and then I'm going to London. I didn't say, I hope I can show up for this conference. I hope I can show up to go pick up this doctorate. I just gave it my all. I didn't know if it was broken, if I was going to be allowed to go or not. But mindset plays a big role in whether you show up or not, or you make things happen or not. And there was no tomorrow for me. I was not going to take no for an answer. And I really left without fully knowing if it was the tendons, the bones or whatnot, broken or not. And I just showed up. And it hurt? Yeah. Was it painful? Yes. Was it worth it? Yes. Would I do it again? Yes. So in this life, for me, all the things I've been able to accomplish, that especially that are reflected in this book, to have the dream of owning my school, to have been able to travel around the world doing what I love, and to be honest, with little to no resources, to be able to trust my journey, which is the slogan of my company, to be able to make things happen for me and for others, which, by the way, there's no others. What I do for you is I do for me, like I said before. So it's just a matter of what kind of energy are you feeling when you hear the word show up. Now, are you still showing up when people tell you do not show up? That's not for you. You're wasting your time. How much are you allowing of other people's voices to be integrated into your system that stifles your will to push in a good way, to do something different? Play with that adrenaline. When people say no, what does that come up? What does that bring up to you? What is it? Oh, because the politics of the country, there are no jobs now. Oh, everybody's doing that business. Why would I do it? There's competition. What is the language that you are telling yourself on a daily basis that perhaps is inhibiting you from showing up, right? So it's all about being aligned with you and trusting that inner guidance, your inner intuition, your connectivity with the divine to be able to see the signs. And sometimes, to be honest, when you don't even see them clearly, just freaking show up. Just show up. Because there's always going to be something that you get out of it. You know, there's so many motivational videos about this, but we keep on making these excuses, right? It's too cold. It's too expensive. I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think I can actually compete against this person. If your heart, listen to this one, calls upon to you to do it or not, like I gave you the couple of examples, that thing that you are blocking, or that you were blocking, because I don't want to hold you in that space, is and can be something that you are completely amazing at. So give yourself an opportunity to try something different, even in fact, play with it and ask yourself, why is it that I'm so adamant not to do this? Why have I always said I would never be a corporate trainer? I know why, and now that I showed up, that's one of the things that I like to do the most. So allow yourself to experience this, because it is the only way that you can actually learn the capabilities and capacities that are beyond you, that you can see, that really make you feel completely transformed and grateful, and so much love and compassion for ourselves when we gift ourselves the opportunity to try new things. It's beautiful to have a path. Like I've always had a path in education and doing conscious parenting and teaching to children, to teachers in educational conferences. That's lovely. But now I teach things I never thought I would teach. And I'm always learning something new. So play with that gift of life to experience and explore different modalities, even in the healing world, you know, where, oh, well, I'm a Reiki therapist, or I work with angels. That's beautiful. But what if you work with completely something that you never thought you would try? You know, you go and work with shamans, you go and work with astrology. You can still be the best at a certain area of your life, but until you tap into something that you have never thought you would thrive or shine or be good at, and then you do it, you're just showing up to really embrace your life to the fullest. And I see my Majito in the house. My love, I know you just got here. You've got to go back and listen to this. I'm cutting this live a little bit short, and I do want to leave some room, as always, for questions. If anybody has questions, this live is called Just Show Up. She says, agree, the more the better, more knowledge and wisdom. Absolutely. Thank you for your feedback. Woot, woot, she says. So I just want to leave you with some thoughts. Just show up, whether you think you like it or not, and whether somebody is aligned with where you're showing up or not. In fact, you don't have to tell sometimes it's just going with us and just showing up. You don't have to seek validation. If you're seeking validation where you need to show up to do something or meet someone, or is this right or is this wrong, you are limited yourself to the possibilities of the mindfulness or not mindfulness of the point of view and fears of the other person. You know, it's been years that I just tap into my heart, my intuition, and of course, my connection with Source, that's the way I make my own decisions. Even when I bought a property last year, everybody, my entire family was against it, except one niece. One niece was not. Junie, thank you. But pretty much all my tribe. And it was the best decision in my life. And actually, me being in Atlanta right now, risking a little bit of my health to be here to find another possibility to reach some wellness in this neck thing that I have going on, it was pretty rough. But I'm so happy I'm here. I'm happy that I continue to show up for myself. And when I show up for myself, everybody shows up as well. So just lead by example, show up and let others shine through your light. And remember, my loves, if you can't show up for you, just show up for others, because that is the vitamin that we need to feel worthy, to feel like we're making a change in someone else's life. And just let Source guide you to what is there waiting for you to live your life in the most loving, blissful way. And so it is. Thank you so much for those that are just showing up. I'm about to actually close this live. I started sharp at 9:30. It's always recorded. It is here, and little by little, all these recordings are then shared on my YouTube channel that we just had, we revamped and started again. I also just want to take advantage of the community that is here. Mondays are special for me for Coffee with Val, Monday morning Coffee with Val's. However, I also have another live show on LinkedIn with my friend Michael Mintz. It's a 10-minute morning activation at 7:30 a.m. on Eastern Time in his account, and it's beautiful. I channel 2 words during the week, and then I go into meditation for 5 minutes, and he bumps it up another 5 minutes. It's only 10-minute morning activation that we do over in LinkedIn. So you see, my loves, it is about just showing up. I pray this has been of service to you. I love you too, Kelly. I love everyone. Thank you for the kisses. Make it a magical day. Yes, Sveta, thank you so much. I honor you. I see you all, and I do believe that you are and will continue to show up for you and for others. Namaste, everyone. Greetings, blessings, love, and light. Until next Monday. Namaste. Happy new moon to you, Mahito. See you soon. Bye-bye.